Now imagine this, Hong Kong, 1996, 5 days before one of the biggest gala dinners of the year. I just became a director of catering of the Gala Hong Kong. I was 25 years old. It was one of my first events. The costume designer and a close friend of mine in tears. He came to me in tears. He said, Christophe, the costumes they're not good enough. I want to change them. I want to start again. My first thought was, my God, he's just crazy. The event was already confirmed. The clients had approved everything. We were running out of time. But deep down, I could feel, he was right. So I took a breath, and I said, okay, let's do it. That decision, can you believe it? That decision changed my life. I want to share that with you. It's a story of a beautiful man. His name is Gregory Durham. He's a creative genius, one of Hong Kong's most famous drag artists at the time in 1994. He had a spirit full of imagination and courage. We were working on a birthday celebration for one of Asia's most important tycoons, Mr. Dixon Poon. At the time, Greg decided to redesign the main costumes completely. So he wanted to start again. And we were 5 days away from the event. And we only have 5 days, to finish everything. And everyone around me said, Christophe, it is impossible. But somehow I believed him. We worked day and night. We didn't sleep. We pushed every limit. It was a huge night. And when it arrived, it was just crazy. It was just so magical. The ballroom like a movie. The music, the costume, the performance, everything came together. It was just incredible. It was just perfection. At the time, it became one of the most talked about events in Hong Kong that year. That night, I learned something that changed my entire view of creativity. And creativity has been a huge part of my life, but creativity and leadership. And here is what I wanted to share with you, is that creativity is not about comfort. Creativity is not comfortable. It begins when you take risk. It lives in that space between fear and faith. Most people choose safe, but safely does not create magic. It does not bring creativity. When I said yes to Gregory at the time, or Gregory Durham, it was not only trusting him, it was trusting creativity itself. This is one thing I always repeated to myself, is that courage creates beauty. When you have the courage to believe in an idea, even when no one else is believing in it yet, you open the doors to greatness. And every creative leader must learn to trust their instinct and to back their people, to take care of their people. When they feel something deeply, mistake will happen. Things won't go the way it was meant. But deadlines will be tight. But true leadership is not about control. It is about something that no one talks about. It's about faith. It's about believing in your team. So how can you use this lesson in your life and your work? First, learn to listen to your gut feeling. I don't hear that much, right? A lot of people say, listen to data, right? Data is like a big thing. I say, listen to your gut. Gut is huge. And the biggest businesses, by the way, have been built on gut feelings. The Apples, all the big companies, all been built on that gut feeling. When something feels wrong, it's actually, if it feels wrong, 90% of the time it is wrong. So do not ignore this, and just because it's uncomfortable. Secondly, build a culture of trust. Build a culture of trust. When people feel safe to speak up, creativity grows. Support the ones who care enough to want to do better. And thirdly, protect quality, not ego. Great leaders know when to stop, when to start and when to stop again, and when to take a risk. That is how excellence is born. I often tell upcoming managers that leadership is not about being right. It's about doing what is right. Greg taught me that sometimes doing what is right means starting over. Being scared kills creativity faster than failure. And he was right. He was right. That night in Hong Kong, I learned that perfection is not a goal, but the process. The process is. And progress always begins with courage. Courage is what is needed. When everything feels like it is falling apart, it might be falling into places. Creativity is not born in comfort. It is born in chaos, in risk, and in beliefs. So when you face your next challenge, remember this. Do not protect what is safe. Protect what is true, what you believe. Trust your people. Believe in their fire. And never be afraid to start again from scratch like Greg. Because in the end, Greg taught me something that is just incredible and will always keep with myself, is that creating that unexpected, creating that power of creating something that is exceptional is something that you need to give to your client, to your colleagues, to your partners. When everything feels like it falls apart, and by the way, it might fall apart in places, but frankly, creativity is not born in comfort. It's born in chaos, in risk, in belief. So when you face your next challenge, remember this. Do not protect what is safe. Safe, yes, is important, but protect what is true. Trust your people, trust your team. Believe in their fire and never be afraid to start again. Because sometimes the night everything's going to go wrong. But actually, it's the night that your career really begins.